Last summer in June, I had gone on a date with a guy that I met online who worked at the company that I was at that time. And that night, I was sexually assaulted by him and came back to work the next day, learning that we actually worked in the same building. After the assault, I started finding myself withdrawing from just my community at the time. Was experiencing a lot of guilt of that night, of just why would I put myself in that situation, and shame of that. I didn't want anybody to know, and that shame was really heavy. I was mad at God would be the best way to explain that. I had a lot of feelings of where was he that night, that if he is God, doesn't he have the ability to stop things from happening, that he knew that that would happen. So I felt like he saw me just as dirty and messy, and just not the way that we know God looks at us is not the way in my mind that I felt like God was looking at me anymore. When I was walking through the depression, I came to such a point that I did not want to be here anymore, and I didn't know how to get out of it, and it really felt like the pain would never end. And through that, I questioned a lot of just rattling the question in my head of, is God even good, through that dark season, and just asked those questions a lot. And I think God, at the end, my answer was always yes, because God started pulling and stripping those walls down just through people. I didn't really understand the truth behind the cross and the power of what Jesus carried on the cross until I walked through this, of that he felt that shame and he felt that guilt. And it's so easy to blame God in that, but he never wanted anything to happen. And if, you were someone that walked through that season, God is there very much, and God doesn't waste pain. And that was something that I hated hearing people tell me in that season, that God isn't going to waste this. And I didn't want to believe that at all. But God doesn't waste the whole idea of beauty from ashes, that God's going to take what was terrible just to use for his own good. And every year, I always pray for God to give me a word. In 2018 was persevere, and I really didn't know why at the time that was my word. And going into this year, I was praying through what that was, and the word restore and restoration came up a lot. And that was the word that I chose and prayed for 2019, and God showed up far beyond what that word really means. And I'm someone who was so broken last year, where I feel like God's restoring so much just in my walk with him, and knowing that when you walk through such a dark season, you question if God's there, and I can come out saying that he very much is. And for me, it's been pushing me forward, seeing that there's a possibility of helping other people who have gone through the same thing. And for me, that's just more important than what happens at the end of the day.